the ambulance got here. And we know because the mother came back in and thanked my colleague for everything that they did. But that was... honestly, big ups to my colleague who did that. They did, I think, go home from work early because honestly, that's a sort of situation you're not paid enough for in retail. Like, she's paid the same amount as me and she saved a baby's life. But yeah, that was amazing. But honestly, I think I'd be too scared on like such a young baby. They cleared the airway. I think she'd been choking on something was the issue. Yeah. So they were like patting her. They were like, yeah. It was just my job to get a screen up so no one could see because of it. What is it called? It's the thing where people can't help but look at a disaster. There was a lot of people just standing there like, I was like, stop. I understand this is in a very public place, but like, this is so inappropriate. Please don't just stand there and watch. Yeah, it was... yeah, my job was to get a screen up and, like, with a couple other girls, make sure people weren't stood there watching. But, yeah, thankfully everything was fine. Baby was good. Baby came back in with mother. Everything was fine. But, like, I guess it's the kind of thing you have to prepare yourself for if you learn CPR. Because, like, whew, scary. I only had to do it on a dummy. Yeah, I've only done it on a dummy as well. Me too. I've only done it on a dummy. Never on a real person. You missed it all. I think they are not EU times, so I think they needed to get some good sleeps. Yeah, my colleagues were hardcore. Like, once again, retail workers do not get enough love. Like, people would, like, the next day would be, like, beating this co-worker down for, like, just stupid stuff. Like, you mean you don't have it in stock? Why is it so expensive? Meanwhile, that same co-worker saved a baby's life the day before and is paid minimum wage to do so. It's like, honestly, service workers, not given enough ups. Like, they're amazing. They do amazing things and you don't see it. Oh dear. Like, I had this one co-worker who would every week bring in, like, cake or cookies or something like that. And, like, whenever someone was having a hard day, like, they'd been yelled at a lot or something like that, this co-worker would take my colleagues aside and, like, feed them cake and give them tissues and let them have a bit of a cry. And, like, no training for that. They were just an amazing person. And, like, whenever I'd see someone yelling at that particular co-worker, it was, like, one of the few times I'd get really mad. Because, like, they're so nice. And they make cakes for everyone every week. They make sure any of the younger members of staff who are a bit worried or scared know what they're doing. They're so nice. They were like a real mum around the business in the nicest possible way. And... oh, I get so mad if people were yelling at her. She didn't deserve it. Oh my god, B, welcome on in. How goes the Apex? I hope you're doing well. I call it filming syndrome when they'd rather film it than help. Yeah, I will say, I don't remember anyone getting their phones up. I do remember a lot of people just being like, and it's like, I get it because you also want to make sure the baby's all right. But the priority should be with the mother who is obviously very distraught right now. And the people that are giving her medical attention. Yeah, so I think a lot of retail businesses have screens. Those screens are basically so if somebody has a medical episode or an episode in any kind that we can shield them from the public eye a little bit. Even if someone just feels a bit faint, like we'd have a lot of older people come in and they'd get a bit faint suddenly, and we'd get them a chair, we'd put the screen up around them wherever they were, just so people weren't ogling them while they felt better, because, like, again, they don't mean any harm, but it could be quite an embarrassing situation if you're going into a store and you suddenly feel faint. Like, you don't want people staring at you. But we weren't the only business in the area that did this. I would expect most retail businesses to have that kind of precaution. Yeah, and a lot of the time people just want to make sure the person's okay. They're not trying to hurt anyone or be rude or anything. It's just, it has like a negative effect. My friends had accidents while on scooters. One had a big cut and like a gush in the other. I'm not even half a mile. Cleaned him up, called an ambulance. Till he bonked his head on the kitchen counter. I wasn't there. 2 weeks. Yeah, don't drive in drunk general. Like, I don't think it matters. Don't drive a hacking bicycle drunk. Like, just literally not when you're drunk. Do not, because